What's up, good people? Welcome back to another episode of Undrafted Views. We're here. We talk sports from the sidelines, and today we're going to talk about the Portland Trailblazers. Yes, the Portland Trailblazers. And guess what? We like them too. And we're going to cover what we know about the Portland Trailblazers and what we suggest they do to get ready for the upcoming NBA season. Let's get into it.
Okay, so here's what we know about the Portland Trailblazers. They finished the season 35 and 39. They had an early exit from the bubble playoffs. They have a head coach in Terry Stotts who has been there 8 years and hasn't been able to have any major success in Portland.
You know, it's really weird because he's been there for 8 years, and the right now teams are not even allowing coaches to even last that long if they have not made it to the conference finals or the NBA finals. So that's interesting that he's still there and he hasn't gotten fired. Wow.
Exactly. And I never hear his name in never hear his name being on the chopping block. Never. So I think Portland has this thing about loyalty because let's take a look at CJ and Dame. They've been there since the beginning of their careers, and they kept them for the last 7 and 6 years, paid them tremendous amounts of money, even though they haven't had great success.
You know, we need to unpack that. You know, maybe go into detail about this coach that, number one, we don't hear about. I can't even put his face to the name right now. And usually I can do that. That is the weirdest thing. Oh, he is under the radar. Good for him.
Right.
Wow, good for him. But
good for him.
That's not good for the franchise. I don't think so.
No,
something is not right. Wow. You know, I have that. It appears that Portland has all the pieces. It appears that they have all the pieces. Is it the coach? I'm just gonna throw it out there. It's so weird. Wow. Okay.
Yeah. So, you know, Damian Lillard, we know he's their guy. He's the franchise player. CJ McCollum as a close second. Yeah. But when it comes to productivity, Damian Lillard, he averages over 30 points in the regular season and 24 points in the playoffs. He is the top paid, at 29. He made 29 million last season. And they didn't even make it past the first round. If I'm honest, they didn't even really make it to the playoffs.
Let's talk about that. Let's talk about that. They went to the bubble on a wing and a prayer.
Sure did.
And with the new structure of having a play-in, 8 games and a play-in tournament.
Since they were there, they had to play the Lakers in the first round, and they lost 4-1. But Dame was injured. When you think about Portland's depth chart, it came into play because Anthony Simons was like, Damian Lillard's backup. And when he went out injured, CJ McCollum had Anthony Simons as his sidekick in the backcourt. I don't know if that was enough. Now, Hassan Whiteside, last year was his last year on his contract. He made $27 million last year. Do they need to re-sign him? I would venture to say yes.
If they don't re-sign him, then who?
Maybe they can get Serge Ibaka. Maybe they can get Andre Drummond. The salaries are about the same.
Okay.
But I like Hassan Whiteside. He's only been in the league 7 years, and he led the team in rebounds and blocks. I say retain Hassan to go alongside Dame and CJ. Now, you also have Jusuf Nurkic.
Yes, and he was injured. He was injured during the regular season. Yeah.
He was injured during the regular season, came back, averaged 15 points in the regular season while he was there, and then only 14 points in the playoffs. Now, like Montrezl Harrell, Jusuf Nurkic suffered a huge loss. He lost his grandmother while in the bubble. That really changed the trajectory of his game. He stopped playing really well. And I get it. However, next year, we should see him kind of back to his old self again.
You know what? I was looking at Yusuf Nurkic, and I'm wondering, because he was injured in the regular season, did that jeopardize Portland's ability to get into the playoffs without having to do a play-in?
It's possible. It's
I, I,
possible.
I made myself a note of that because I thought it was fairly interesting, because he does put up decent points. And when they lost him due to his injury, there was some change in their success with that. So I'm wondering, what will it look like for the next season now that he's healthy,
Mhm.
and he's back and he is able to play the full stretch of the 72 games or however many games he plays. Will that give Portland a better seeding spot in the Western Conference? I'm wondering.
Oh, definitely. I mean, because Nurkic, he's on the border of being an all-star.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And when he went out, I was like, oh, I think that is one of the things that hindered Portland from solidifying a spot in the playoffs, Western playoffs.
Yeah. I hope so. I hope that was the reason why they seeded, like, I think 10 in the Western Conference, because if not, they got some really big problems.
I know it's bigger than that. I know, but I'm going to lean toward that because it kind of makes sense. Now, whether that's valid or not, I don't know, but I'm going to lean toward that because he was a great contributor to their roster when he was there. So,
yeah, let's talk about Carmelo Anthony.
mm-hmm.
Here's a guy who was out of the league for some time, revived his career in Portland.
Yeah.
I think they should hold on to him moving into the next season.
Yes, I think so too. I think so too.
Carmelo made $2 million last year. And he's made a point to say in the media that he wants to make Portland his home.
Yeah.
Why not?
Why not? Why not? Why not pay him $2 million again?
Yeah. He averaged 15 points in the regular season, and then he was definitely needed in the playoffs. He averaged 15 points in the playoffs.
I'll say keep him. That would be nice. Yes. Because I think what Portland needs to do is that, okay, I know we have our team, but now when I'm matching up my team against the likes of the people that I will be competing against in the playoffs, because that's really what you're striving for, the playoffs. Mm-hmm. Will this team be able to measure up against that? And if you can't with your current roster, then come November 20th, 2020, y'all need to start making some trade moves. Start talking to some people. I mean, you're probably talking now, but openly talk to some people and try to see how you can kind of shift up your roster. I just know that you will not be getting rid of. I don't see Portland trading Dame or CJ.
Oh no,
at all. So then, what are the pieces around that? Do we need to move if necessary in order to compete in the playoffs against these other teams that right now are superior to us, because we can't seem to get past the first round? So,
okay. You know who really stood out during the regular season in the playoffs, more so in the playoffs, was Gary Trent Jr. and Wenyen Gabriel. Oh, I think they played great, having very little time in the league and playing in the playoffs, which is like a big deal. Mm-hmm. I think they showed up for the Portland Trailblazers.
Yeah. Gary Trent Jr. did well. I agree.
Mm-hmm.
And he's not making that much.
Oh, no.
And he's on a 3-year. And he has 2 more years on that contract. So I say, why not keep him?
Oh, yeah. But what I'm saying is that I think Wenyen Gabriel and Gary Trent Jr. are a pretty good trade bait, too. Because they made a name for themselves. For who?
Yeah, for who? Oh, I got one. Hayward, your favorite.
Is he still in the league?
That was a joke for sure.
Yeah. The Portland Trailblazers had a couple of players who were either injured or who opted out of the NBA bubble. Mm-hmm. They had Trevor Ariza. Zach Collins was injured. Yeah. And he is a 6'11" forward/center. They missed out on his 8 points per game. Mm-hmm. Rodney Hood had had a season-ending injury. Yeah, he averaged about 12 points per game. And then you had a bunch of rookies on the team who didn't get much playing time, even though, Portland barely made it to the playoffs.
Yeah. But this is the thing. This is the thing. So we can come up with reasons why Portland may have struggled to make it past the first round in the NBA playoffs. We can probably come up with reasons the previous year too, or the previous season too. And we can come up with reasons in the season before that. At what point will Portland say enough is enough? There is no way we have these max salary players on our team, and we cannot even seem to get to the conference finals. What point will they say this? Okay, wait, hold up. Really?
Mhm.
When will they do that? And that's what I'm looking for. For me, it's almost like it's anticlimactic. I can't. I just get so excited for the Portland team to really do it, and then they get to the playoff, and this
Sizzle. Yeah.
what
Yeah.
year after year after year.
Yeah.
I'm waiting. I'm waiting for them to take it to the next level. And I don't know if this roster is going to be the take it to the next level roster. What does that look like? And I'm going to say it again. Since we never hear about him, is it the coach? I don't know. It just doesn't make sense.
I know. And you have top tier talent in the backcourt and Dame and CJ.
I don't get it.
I don't know.
And you cannot tell me that Dame doesn't have any hustle. That he be balling. So and CJ right along with him as a counterpart balling. And then you got the Hassan and all the other dudes on the team and and then what? It blows me away. So I'm waiting for them to finally say, okay, you know what, you guys, come on now, really, we're gonna do it again.
I know.
They can't do it again.
They're too loyal. And I think he might be Terry Stotts. It might be him. They may need a whole new system.
Yeah, I just don't know. When I look at other organizations who are like, no, not you, Doc Rivers, Alvin Gentry, I cannot do it another year. So if it's not the players, because they appear to have the roster that can make it happen.
Yeah.
And they don't, then who is it? What is it? It's weird to me. Can a Portland fan explain this to me? Please, you got to, because I could be missing it. But as a fan of sports, I want to see Portland, be successful beyond first round playoffs, yet it doesn't happen. And then we started going down. Well, they had these reasons why it didn't happen. Oh, another year, we have these reasons why it didn't happen. I don't get it.
I know. It's actually pretty sad because I don't want to see their core talent waste their prime years. Portland doing nothing, not winning anything. This is not going to look good for their legacy.
Not when your last Western Conference title was in 1992. What? And you won the NBA Finals in 1977. Okay. With all that talent, no, it doesn't make sense to me. It just doesn't make sense. You rebuild in another year. Is this your rebuild year? You can't rebuild when you got top players. Just so give me more, Portland. Give me more.
Well, the problem is Damian Lillard's salary increases to $50 million a year.
50. I can't even in my mind.
Mm-hmm.
What does that look like?
Yeah. That's the problem. All their money is wrapped up into their backcourt. CJ, his increases from 27 to 35. If you're going to keep Hassan, he's getting close to 30.
Okay. Well, then.
So what exactly do they need to do to be successful next year? We already know that Terry Stotts might be the problem, but what else?
Terry T, Coach T, is it you? I don't know. I don't know. Outside from that revelation I just identified while we were talking, I mean, it just came to me. It's amazing. But outside of that, do they need to improve their defense?
I think their defense is fine.
Okay, so then do they need another max superstar on their team?
No. They're already
Again,
the first. They are ranked first in NBA salaries.
this is what I'm talking about. So
I don't know. Maybe they need another forward. Rodney Hood. Poor Rodney Hood. Let me see. He's been in the league 5 years and had a career injury. This isn't his first. Missed the whole season. We don't even know what he's going to bring next season.
You're correct. It's not his first. And if I'm not mistaken, I believe he actually had an injury the previous season too.
Yeah. Rodney Hood. Rodney made $5.7 million and didn't get much from him. We can get 2 veteran players making 2.5 each for Rodney Hood's salary.
Okay. All right. So is that a waive or trade? I mean, I don't know what are we talking about? Because is he even a player that a team would even acquire? Would they want to acquire him? No, I don't see
I
it.
wouldn't want him. If I'm a GM, I wouldn't want him. But
so he's not. Right. So if it's not going to be him as a trade option and perhaps some future picks, maybe, then who could it be on the team? Because I don't think they're going to do Nurkic.
Yeah, I think the trade bait is Wenyen Gabriel and Gary Trent, only because they have so much potential. And other teams will be like, oh, you know what? Yeah, I'll take a 6'9" forward. He showed great hustle in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Gary Trent, oh, he's tough. I compare him to like a PJ Tucker on the wing. He's not very tall. He's only 6'5". He's not going to give you a lot of offensive, but he's going to get with you on defense. He's going to meet you at the rim.
Right. Okay, that's fair. What about Anthony Simmons?
Oh, he's so cute. He's just such a young guard. He's a good second string point guard. He had a couple clutch threes, surprised me, in the bubble playoffs. Anthony gonna give you about 8 points, maybe 6 points in the playoffs.
He will give you that because of his lack of time on the court. Damian's gonna take up the spot. I mean, as he should, of course. So Anthony, he may need to consider what his future looks like.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's going to be able to showcase and or increase his experience and also playing time if he stays on the Portland Trailblazers behind Damian Lillard. So
yes, he's So, in terms of what they need to do, I mean, my best suggestion is to take a closer look at Terry Stotts. I think they need a culture shift. Keep Carmelo. Retain Hassan Whiteside. Let's get Nurkic up to speed.
Yes.
Let me see who else is there. We know Dame and CJ, they're not going anywhere. And then think about trading Rodney Hood for another piece. That's all I have.
That is the suggestion. Okay, well, we've unpacked that very well this episode. We've unpacked that.
All right, you guys. Well, that wraps up this episode of what we know and what we suggest about the Portland Trailblazers. I know there are a lot of Rip City fans.
Yeah.
So we need you to drop down in the comments and let us know, like, what do you suggest? Should the Portland Trailblazers keep their roster as is, or are there some pieces that they need to add in order to be successful next season? Because the Western Conference, we all know. Let's just call it the Bestern Conference. It's the best.
Western Conference.
The Western Conference, and you cannot come with this little roster of just 2 mega superstars and a couple of role players and think that you're gonna make it to the Western Conference playoffs and definitely Western Conference Finals. Oh, you can forget about it.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes. So you guys, thanks for watching, and we will see you guys on the next one. See ya.